Hi, welcome back to the Sound of Musicals. And today we have a very special treat for you all. Earlier in the year, a new musical started its UK tour based on the American sitcom Friends, a classic for many, many people. The Friendsical musical unfortunately got cut off due to the coronavirus COVID-19 shutdown of all the theatres. But we're fortunate enough today to be joined by the actor who plays Chandler in Friendsical, Thomas Mitchells. Say hello to Tamworth, Thomas.
Hello, Tamworth. I'm so happy to be back.
Because you're from Tamworth as well, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So, as I've said, Friendsical, the musical, something that people maybe didn't expect to happen, but it did. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it. I was meant to be seeing it in Coventry, but of course it got cancelled. So what can you tell us all about the show? What could people expect from it?
The best description I can kind of give to summarize Friendsical is it is a 2.5 hour show of all the Friends references you can think of thrown into a blender and just turned into this quote fest smoothie that lots of Friends fans will absolutely get a kick out of. So with music.
With music, of course, as well. Yeah. And so it's a real treat for the fans then, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we do have a lot. Obviously, it's a show about Friends. So, of course, you're going to get a lot of Friends fans. And because we started our first tour last year to coincide with the 25th anniversary of Friends being on air for the first time, because it's been for 25 years now.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have, as an audience, a lots of Friends fans, but you're spanning a couple of generations there of people that watched it from the 1990s. So Miranda, who wrote the show, she was the first generation of Friends fans. And so she's been able to write this, but it's been something that's been relatable to audiences now, where you know, Netflix has allowed so many new younger people to really enjoy Friends and enjoy it for what it is.
And I'm sure loads of people have been watching it at home because there's nothing else to do at the moment, is there?
It's the perfect time for binge watching.
Of course, yeah. So how did this musical come to be then? Were you involved from the start?
So the way it worked was the producers of the show, a team called Birdbrook, they had the idea of putting on a Friends show. Again, because of the 25th anniversary, they felt obviously going to do it. We hit the 25th anniversary year, and it'd be a nice thing to sort of link together to celebrate Friends as a show. Yeah. So they chatted to Miranda Larson, who wrote the show and directed it for the past two tours. And she slogged and she said, don't give this project to anyone else. I want to write this.
Yeah.
And so she worked long and hard putting a script together over a few months, and it was quite a quick turnaround. I think the initial pitch was in October, and we started up the show in July, that time in 2019. So it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And so that's where it came to be. And I, as did everyone else who was a part of it, we were just called in by a casting director to come in and audition for the show. And they found out I was pretty much the lovable loser that is Chandler Bing. So, I mean, it worked quite well for me.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. And of course, it's really unfortunate that the tour wasn't able to be complete. Are there any plans to complete it? Has it been rescheduled? Are you going to pick it up again?
Well, I don't know what I can say. I can say that there have been postponement plans, and a lot of venues that we were supposed to be going to have talked about basically just doing next year. Obviously, with everything that's going on with theatre at the moment, as with many, many other shows, no one can really predict when it's going to happen exactly. We've come up with, well, they've come up with some dates which they have bookmarked. So all being well, it will happen on those dates in 2021. But obviously, there's no confirmation yet because we don't know what the theatre venues are going to be like in that period of time. But it is lovely to have that. It is exciting to to know that, you know, we could come out the other side into 21 with a lot of theatre just everywhere,
Yeah, yeah.
sprawling everywhere. So
And
yeah, we were excited.
yeah, and not just Friendsical as well. Of course, loads of new musicals will probably come out of this time because people have been being creative at home. Of course,
Yeah.
writing. I've seen a couple new musicals pop up as well, start advertising themselves. I'm quite excited for theatre to be back.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a change there's going to be a definite change in the scope of theatre,
Yeah.
and a lot of push for things to change systemically as well. Obviously, with current affairs of things that have been going on, a lot of things have happened to try and change the way that theatre's been, because theatre has been the same for quite a few years in terms of its attitudes. And it's so I just recently, for instance, someone who I've had the pleasure of meeting a few times, a man called Ryan Carter, produced a concert live stream show at I think Cardigan Hall in London, and it was called Turn Up London, where they got over 90 black artists of the community to get together and put on this incredible live stream event, which is on, well, it started yesterday. I think it's doing one more tonight and then one tomorrow.
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware,
tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's £10 a ticket. It's definitely worth, if you're not doing anything in the evening at 7:30, just to watch these incredibly talented people that belong in the theatre industry just as much as anyone else. And it's so powerful and stunning to see these things coming out of, you know, something from a quite tense situation of not only have you had a pandemic, but also you've had all these other things going on as well. When everything is open again, I think it is going to be very refreshing and very new, and there's going to be a new welcome change.
Yeah, of course. And that is even more exciting as well. As you've just said, with all the representation that is going to happen, I'm sure there'll be much more representation than there has been in the past. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing a new, fresh wave of theatre.
Yeah, and it's other things as well. I've had friends that have treated lockdown and not being able to go into theatre in a way of trying to do those things that they've always wanted to do. They've said, I really want to write a musical, but I've just never had the time to do so. And now I find myself with all this time, so I'm going to use it to write these things. And another very good friend of mine, Duncan Burt, who's a part of West End Best Friend, he has done a draft of a very exciting musical that he's been thinking about for some time, which I really hope goes somewhere, because it is a very, very, very fun musical.
Well, I look forward to hopefully hearing more about that in the future. So you've talked about how a few other people have been dealing with lockdown. What about you? How have you been spending time in the home?
Well, to be honest, I think I spent 3 months out of jeans. I was just wearing hoodies and the tracksuit bottoms for pretty much the entirety of lockdown. But yeah, I mean, I'm a voiceover artist as well, so I have been able to do some of that from home, and spending lots of quality time with my fiance, because she was lucky enough to be able to work from home full time. So we got to spend a lot of time with each other, and just you know, I like to cook, so I started cooking new things. I purposely, because of the great summer we were having, I bought a barbecue and was making things like souvlaki and halloumi skewers, and so I just got to do things that I in a normal sense went, no, I won't bother with that. And then I got to have some fun and just try new things.
Fantastic. I'm sure loads of people have been kind of using the time productively as well, but of course, if you haven't, then there's no pressure at all. You can just spend the months relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a time to, you know, don't feel judged to feel as though you have to be productive all the time. I mean, Lord knows that I've spent a lot of time playing on the PlayStation, so you know, and there were times where I went, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to go on that all day rather than try and, I don't know, build a website or something really boring and administratively. You know, it just enjoy the fact that, you know, you've got your health and you can FaceTime your family all the time and FaceTime friends that you haven't spoken to in a while and reconnect with people. Just chill out.
And you just mentioned you were a voiceover artist as well as an actor and sort of thing. So what kind of work have you done in that field?
Well, I've kind of, my voiceover kind of spans I often do a lot of commercials, television commercials, radio
Cool.
commercials, and I also, because I'm an actor as well, I work a lot in video games.
Okay.
So, which is also the most fun and cathartic experience.
Yeah.
I said in a previous interview that when you're in video games, you get, because obviously it's all about your voice rather than how you look on stage. I get to play characters that I would nowhere near be able to get on a stage and play, but I can play as them in video games. So I can be that ripped bodybuilder soldier that I could try and look like, but it would take a lot of effort, and I enjoy I enjoy cake too much. So
Of course, yeah. Well, that's all very, very cool. Okay, so back to Friendsical, of course, the musical that you are a part of. So, not musical related, what is your favourite episode or favourite reference that you do in the musical from the TV show?
Right, so it's quite sentimental, actually. My personal story with Friends. So when I got offered Friendsical to be in it as Chandler, the funny thing was that I had never actually watched Friends chronologically. I'd never actually seen all of the Friends episodes.
Right.
You know how it's like on Channel 5, and they'll just throw a couple, or Comedy Central will do like episodes about Joey.
The repeats,
I'd only ever seen a couple of them, and 9 times out of 10 it always felt like they played the same 10 episodes across all the channels, all day, every day. And then I moved into my flat with my fiance Natalie in Twickenham, which we've been living there for a while now. But when we moved, we were waiting for our broadband to get fitted in, so we couldn't watch TV or anything. So what she did was she had the entire box set of Friends.
Oh.
So she started throwing on more episodes of Friends that I'd never seen before. And I got to watch them for the first time going, okay, all right, okay, I get it now. And then, when I was in the rehearsals, when I first started, it was the first time I'd actually sat and watched from episode 1 all the way through to episode 236.
Yeah.
Because it was right. That's my research. I've got to watch all of this in order to do a show about Friends, to understand all these references. And no, it was hilarious. It was the first time. It was actually the first time I discovered that there is actually a plot that runs all the way through from episode 1 all the way to the end. And I had no idea. I just thought it was a bit like How I Met Your Mother, where it's just different things happen, like Big Bang Theory. So it was like, oh right, and I understood references a lot more when things. And like We Were on a Break was probably one of the references I didn't get for so long until I watched it chronologically and went, oh, that is okay, I get it now.
That's why.
But no, it was really funny because when I got engaged to Natalie in 2018 in January. And
congratulations.
Thank you very much. And obviously we were all very excited, and wedding plans and everything we've been able to do throughout the past however long we've been together for. And the one thing that really stuck out for me was the Monica and Chandler wedding episodes.
Yeah,
they were my two favorites, because obviously it was a bit sentimental, because I'm like, oh well, I'm going to be Chandler now on stage, but then watching a wedding episode. And Natalie is a Monica, I'm not going to lie. When we came down to Tamworth, when she came up to Tamworth, she made her tick list, a check sheet, a to-do list, make sure she packed everything, she crossed everything off. She was really methodical, and I just stood there going, you are Monica. Of course we were meant to be together.
Yeah.
And, so they were two of my favorite episodes, just because of everything that goes on. You get Rachel finding out, you find out Rachel's pregnant, and the potatoes and the pasta, all the like, some of my favorite moments are in those episodes. But my favorite reference that I do in the show, it's a very quick one. Yeah. That happens during a musical number, but in Friends, in the actual episode, it's one of my favorites, and it's just, I knew it. It's every time. It's one of my favorites. And I get great joy doing it, because it just when I do it in the show, it is completely out of nowhere, and it's just one of those ones where all the fans go, "Ah, God,
yeah." You must have loads of like little references where people in the audience go, "Yes, I know exactly where that's from."
We have people. You have like really audible reactions to them going, "Oh, they got that in there," but also you have got almost a bit like Rocky Horror, where you just have people shouting out the quote even before you finish saying it because they're
Ooh.
so on the ball.
Yeah. Okay, so last couple of questions now. You mentioned you watched all the episodes for research. Are there any other things you did to kind of get into the role of Chandler? Did you try and do an impression, or was it more from yourself?
Yeah, we were kind of it was instilled in us to try and not be a just like a parody impression, like a Saturday
Yeah.
Night Live version. Yeah, they were really looking for, we want you to represent the characters as truthfully as
Okay.
possible,
Yeah.
in a sense of you are going, like, we know you are going to be shouting out quotes that people will laugh and shout at, and you're also singing, which never happens in
Yeah.
the show. They don't burst into song in an episode. So it was a challenge at first, and my interpretation of Chandler, it did stem from being able to meld between having the base of the impression, and mainly in the voice and his the way he stands and the way that Matthew Perry moves on set, which is great
Yeah.
about those kind of soundstage sitcoms, is that a lot of the time, really, it is just like watching a theater show, and you can see, because a lot of
Yeah.
things are like, a lot of shows are filmed like how we're talking now, where you can just see the shoulders and the face, but things
Yeah.
like sitcoms, it's very useful because you can see a lot of full body shots of people and
Yeah.
how they are and carry themselves, which really helped. But it was just other things that really changed the way I was with Chandler, and one of the biggest ones was when I was watching the episodes throughout rehearsals. We got from seasons 1 to 3, and I think it's at season 3 at some point.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry clearly had his teeth done. Yeah, because obviously they were all getting rich at this
Right.
point.
Yeah.
And he got his teeth done, and he's got these pearly whites. And obviously, when he got his teeth done, it changed the way his mouth was shaped, and it gave him almost a bit more of a pronounced lisp in the way he talked. So
Okay.
as soon as I got to that moment, I went, well, it's season 3. He's got a bit more of a lisp. There's how many seasons? There's 10 seasons. 10?
10. Yeah, there's 10. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 10. I've doubted myself. It's all a blur. And so I was like, well, actually, people are going to hear the lisp a lot more in those, because there's so many more seasons after that happened.
Yeah.
So that's when all of a sudden I started adding the lisp in, because originally he talked like this, and then I found out that just adding that lisp in really helps in getting the Chandler voice.
Wow.
And that was the penny drop moment for me. I went, that's it. That's what I'm going to use.
Wow.
And I mean, when it comes to things like sarcasm, I'm probably one of the most sarcastic people alive. So it fit really well.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So thank you for that about Friends. Final question, and I ask this to everyone that comes on the show, no matter what show they're in, what they're doing. What is your favorite musical and your favorite song from that musical, but you can't have worked on it?
Oh, well, it's actually a very easy question for me.
Okay.
My favorite musical of all time, which I haven't seen,
Okay.
I haven't even seen it, but it's my favorite musical, is Parade.
Okay.
And the favorite song from it is the opening number, the Old Red Hills of Home. It was that period of 90s musicals where they just loved a really good, powerful ensemble number.
Yeah.
Like Ragtime.
Yeah.
Where just all the ensemble numbers of that, like the 90s musicals just loved a really strong ensemble choral sound to them.
Yes, of course.
And just the composition of the music that Jason Robert Brown did for Parade, and a lot of his work, but Parade mainly, it just stood out for me as just one of those things I could easily listen to again and again. But every time I hear Old Red Hills of Home, it really is that you do feel like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you hear the drumming at the beginning. And then when they all come in at the end and you hear these beautiful harmonies come through, it is a very, very sad musical. It's very sad. It's very depressing. But I kind of like that because, a lot of musicals are feel good, and it's nice to have a story that's something that makes you feel something and think about things in a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's just a stunning show.
Okay. I'll be sure to play that later on in the show for you then. Okay.
Great.
So thank you, Thomas. And that has been a great interview. Thank you for joining us on The Sound of Musicals.
It was a pleasure.